Okay, we had some technical difficulties. That's what I'm going to call it, right? That's why the video portion of this will have to be in two parts. I was gonna just stop the video part. I was just gonna delete it. I get really frustrated really easily when things don't go the way I planned them. But it's all right. I'm just gonna work through this one. Technical difficulties. We ended with Brandon Figueroa versus Carlos Castro. I'm gonna pick Brandon Figueroa in that fight in a decision, but I think that's a tough fight. I think that's a very close fight. It might be a highly debatable fight. I just think that Carlos Castro isn't consistent enough. He allows guys to get work off that really. I feel like uh he shouldn't have to be in those positions, but he kind of constantly puts himself in those positions. So I'm taking Brandon Figueroa. On the opening bout, you have Frank Martin versus Jackson Martinez. Actually, interesting fight especially because Martinez is a late replacement. Frank Martin, who is the guy that's like looking to move past prospect and get to world champion level fighter, top of the guy, face the top guys at 135. He looks like he has the stuff. A fight like this could be not the performance that he wants. So because Marinas is very tough. He's a technical, but he can box. I don't know if he's a technical boxer, but he can box. He has some slickness to him. He has some speed to him. Now, last time we see Marinas, he got smoked by a Comey. But before that, we seen him, to me, in my opinion, beat Rolly Romero and then get robbed. I think that this is the kind of fight that really will show me who Frank Martin is. If Frank Martin goes and really puts a dominant performance against Jackson Martinez, I think that really showed me that he is cut above, like the all the prospects or guys that are coming up. He's ready for that top level. But if he goes and just kind of wins the fight, but has a hard time, kind of gets stalled out at points, or just kind of more competitive than I thought, then though I'll start. Maybe I think this is kind of one of the ones where I could start having doubts about him. He looks like he's very good, but he could be a little bit basic, right? Because he did get to boxing later in his he didn't do it from a very young age. He kind of got to boxing late, and a lot of times like that is there's like certain things, certain things to his craft that you can't just get unless you kind of like grew up doing it, right? You grew up and your body could do those motions. I think sometimes from what I see from the game, it's kind of the basics. He's kind of very good at the basics, and he's has good talent, right? Natural ability, but it's just kind of the basics. And I want to know if there's different elements that he can add to his game. We're showing this fight that shows that he's not just uh you know his physical ability and the basics that he uses is not where he's just been able to beat the lower level competition, but against a guy like Martinez who kind of will, it's kind of can make you can pull some stuff out of you, right? Like can might need might you might need to get a little more creative with your performance against Marinas, right? You got to fight against Marinas to be effective. Now that's this card. You also have Speedy Alice, right? Who's gonna be fighting on the YouTube portion of the PBC card. He's also fighting a late replacement. I think people are just going to be excited to see him because he hasn't been able to fight because he was on Golden Boy, and for some reason they put him on ice. They weren't trying to put him on cards or put him on a show or put him on anything really. So they put him on ice. He got out of that contract. Now he's with the PBC, and he looks like he's finally going to get the opportunities that he wants. And especially with the PBC has at 147, it's completely stacked. He's just another name to add to already stacked division. So it's the 147 is very healthy for the PBC, and they're just only the rich are getting richer with adding Alice to it. Now, I did want to talk about one other fight happening this weekend, and this I know we're doing a two-parter here on this on the video portion of the podcast, but it's going to be a little bit shorter. But let's talk about Derek Chisora versus Kobrat Pulev. And I kind of think this is an easy one to take apart because I think Chisora is definitely on the downside of his career. I think he's very entertaining. I think that I no problem ever watching Chisora fight, but when I seen the last fight he had with Joseph Parker, he just looked like he just cannot keep a consistent performance throughout a fight. His energy is just going to dip, and he has to. There's points where like he's literally just out against the ropes. That's really what it feels like. It really feels like he's out against the ropes. I think Pulev is still has a lot left. I think Pulev is still able to be competitive with a lot of good heavyweights. I really do. Now, do I don't think he's a world championship level? Do I think he's a threat to be the top guy? No, I don't think that. I think he'll always lose to guys like Fury, Usyk, and Joshua and Wilder. I don't think he'll ever beat any of the guys. But like that middle of the pack, he's gonna give them all a tough fight. And Chisora, who I don't think can fight consistently, I think Pulev could actually get a stoppage here. And I don't think Pulev is a big stoppage guy. He's not. He's not a big knockout guy. And Chisore's not a guy to get stopped easily. I mean, Chisore's last three guys are Joseph Parker twice and Usyk, and he wasn't stopped any of those fights. He went decision in all of them. So Pulev getting a stoppage here, I think, is because Chisore's just going to be out of it. And I just think that he's not going to be able to keep his hands up. I think he's going to be tired in the second half of this fight, and Pulev's just going to be able to work, and he's going to get the stoppage, and he's going to have a pretty good performance, I think. And I expect another decent heavyweight matchup for him going forward from that. I think that people wanted to kind of throw him aside after the Joshua fight, but it's like, hey, that's Joshua. Joshua's an amazing heavyweight. I think the middle of the pack, like I said, Pulev's a problem for everyone. I would honestly, I think I would favor to pick him over Joseph Parker. I really would. I have no problem saying that. So it's a good weekend for boxing. It really is. The Magsayo versus Ray Vargas, that's a hell of a card. Chisora versus Pulev is a fun main event. You're also going to have the Dream versus Soro rematch, which I don't, controversial ending, I guess, but the Dream should win that. I'm not high on him. I don't see him as a legit threat at 154. I think a lot of people try to do that. I know he has a lot of physical abilities, but it's too much. There's no in between in his game. It's like explosive shots, wild looping shots. You need to have some craft to it. Like you just do. You have to have something, unless you're like that much more physically gifted than everyone else. But I don't think he is, especially at 154. I don't think he's more physically gifted, or at least that much more physically gifted than everybody else. So I think some of the guys are more physically gifted than him. So it's a fight to watch. The Dream's always kind of entertaining the way he fights, but I'm not high. I'm not buying a lot of stock on him. I apologize for everyone who watched the video version of this that you had to do it in two parts. Sometimes we got to make do with what we have. That's just the case of it. But I appreciate you guys for listening. I did want to do one last say one last thing. I just reached 70 subscribers on YouTube. Now I know that's not a lot. I'm self-aware. I'm not I'm not thinking like, oh, this is a massive number, but it's a massive number to me. I'll put it that way. It's a big number to me. It's a goal of working towards something, to getting subscribers, getting more eyeballs on this. And I said, I got to set another goal. Now we got to 70. That was the goal, right? I got to 60. I was like, we got to get 70, right? And we got there. Now I got to get to 5,000. Okay. I know 70 to 5,000, that's a huge leap, right? When you set the goal of 70, how the hell do you go all the way to 5,000? That's just where my mind works. I mean, I could go to 80, but we get to 10, and it's just gonna be no. I'm not a celebration type guy. Let's get to 5,000. That's the next time I'll do one of these. But we got to 70. I appreciate you guys for listening. Please like, subscribe if this is your first time watching. I like when you guys leave comments. I'll respond to the if you leave a question, I'll respond to the next podcast. But thank you guys for listening. It's been the Ezra podcast. Peace.